I'm gonna try to speak to you soon, bro. Get down to the nitty gritty. But bro, sometimes just send me voice notes. Like, bro, you don't like sending voice notes. Make life a lot easier, you know? So, question. When I make ebooks, what books do you guys want first? If I look at my analytics on the podcast, it's like making a woman obsessed with you. That's the thing that guys want to hear the most. So what is it that what is it that you guys want from the ebooks? And the ebooks are going to be cheap. I'm going to make them like anywhere from like 20 to 25 bucks, not expensive at all. Cuz I know the course is pretty expensive, but it shit took me a lot of time. The course is like 200 something dollars, so how to become successful. Okay, we'll do that one. But in success in reference to what though? Why that shit not publishing? Hmm. Well, okay, well, listen, I'm not a millionaire yet, so I'm working on it my damn self. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm working on it my damn self, Russ. And I would say even when I get a mill, that's not even necessarily rich nowadays. You know what I'm saying? That's not even necessarily being rich. I'm a business owner. I don't work. I can't work for nobody. I gotta work for myself. I believe in working for myself and on myself. Pause. Let me focus on what I was trying to do here. Let me see if it'll go now. But for some reason, it is not going. Embedded support. Any. Okay, whatever. Fuck yeah. But I'm a private consultant, and I sell glasses, and I do some things on the side. You asking a lot of personal questions. Chill. This is not an interview moment. I'm here to do a podcast. Have you ever heard Consulting of D? Have you heard of that? Mm. D's nuts, motherfucker. How you fall for that? How you fall for that? He said consulting of D. Got him. Oh my god, you asking a lot of personal questions we not about to answer right now. Just understand that. And get this buddy. You asking questions and we not about to answer right now. Chill. But anyway, guys, if you got questions until we start the podcast, if you guys on the Zoom call, or if you guys got questions in the chat, I'll answer your questions until we start. We're about to get started in a second. Get started on the podcast. Yeah, I think it is a little weird to wear perfume as a guy. You should wear cologne. Perfume is usually for women. So yeah, that's a little weird, dude. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There were times where I was younger and I maybe didn't have cologne. My father didn't, so I may have spritzed some of my mom's, But that was only when I was smelling a little funky when I was younger. You know those days you smell musty and you just like, and you got to get excessive. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I don't want to walk around smelling like a female. So that's why I buy cologne. Buy cologne. It's really good for you, man. It's a really good investment. You should always smell good. Be at your best. Maybe we'll go over some of that today. What's going on?
I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I got a question for you.
What's the deal?
So, me and this girl have been dating for like almost a year now, right? And like while into a relationship, it got to a point where we just started like arguing about random stuff. Mm-hmm. And then so I ignored her for like a couple of days because I felt like she was disrespectful. So
wait, say that again. You said you ignored for a couple of days because of what?
Because like I felt like she was being disrespectful.
Okay.
So and when I came back to speak to her again, she was like, she wanted to break up, and I asked her why. She said she thinks that we're just wasting time, stuff like that, and she doesn't really see the point in this relationship. So I was a bit confused on why she said that. I don't know how, because we haven't spoke to each other in like 2 weeks, and I don't know how to fix this situation. If you have any advice, that'll be helpful.
Well, for starters, you said you guys were arguing a lot. How long were you guys dating for?
What was that?
How long were you guys dating for?
A year, almost a year.
Okay, and when did the excessive arguing start?
Like 9 months to the relationship, probably.
You said what?
Like probably 9 months into the relationship, like right before it ended.
And you said you guys been dating for 2 years?
Oh, 1 year.
Oh, 1 year.
Almost a year.
Okay, yeah. And when you decided not to speak to her for a week, did she try speaking to you?
No, not really.
So you didn't speak to her for an entire week, and she didn't try to speak to you at all?
No, she just asked me where I was when I came back, and no, she didn't try to make any contact or anything like that.
Okay, that's not a good sign. And how long? And have you ever done that before?
The ignoring thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it once before that.
And how did she react when you did that?
She just reacted the same way. She asked where I was, and that's it. She didn't try to make contact or anything like that.
Yeah, this is probably a girl that has somebody else on the side, dude. Like, that's wild. I've never seen that. I've never seen a girl that doesn't panic at all. And
yeah, it's a really weird situation. Like, I've never been in this type of situation before.
Yeah, but whenever you don't talk to a girl and she doesn't try to hit you up, she doesn't try to see where you're at, she's not concerned with your whereabouts at all, very abnormal. Now, she can be your exceptional abnormal person, or just really honestly not care that much, or she has somebody on the side. No girl acts like that. Very abnormal.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Because even I've dated the most calm of girls. Even the most calm of girls are at least gonna say, are you just ignoring me? Are you not talking to me? She didn't hit you up at all? You think this girl cares about you?
Well, she asked where I was and stuff like that when I came back.
Yeah, but that's after the fact. It doesn't matter. Because what if you never came back?
Yeah.
What if you never came back? She asked you where you was at after the fact. You done gone for a whole week and she don't care?
I don't know. It's weird.
No, it's weird because she don't care.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk, she acts like she cares and stuff, but she probably really doesn't deep down. I don't know.
So has she ever told you she loves you?
Yeah, she has.
Do you feel as if it's genuine?
I do. Maybe
Okay.
she's just like a weird person. I don't know. It's so
Mm,
complicated.
no, that's even still, even weird people are still at least send you a text.
Yeah, I
You
mean, when she just said she wanted to stop, she wanted to break up, I just said, "Oh, I can't force you to stay. I'm just gonna let you go. I respect your decision, like you talk, you know."
mm-hmm. And then
And then
and then what she say?
and then I kind of messed up because literally like 2 days after I texted her and asked her if we could fix things, and she's like, "Nah, she doesn't want to. She doesn't see the point in this relationship, or like she doesn't, she's not. She's confused, I guess."
Well, there's when somebody walks away, you want to have you want to still have your respect, right? You still want to have your respect first and foremost, because a lot of guys, when you don't, um, when guys beg and plead for a girl after they leave, what happens is you make the situation worse.
Attraction.
You make the
Yeah.
situation a lot worse, and then on top of that too, um, that girl end up losing respect for you. Now you're not blocked.
Nah.
You're not exactly. So you're not blocked. So one, you got to give it some space, but I feel like there has to be more to the story, because it doesn't sound like there's any real inherent problem other than her interest is just really not that high. Because for you to not talk to her for a week, you did that once before, and you said you guys were arguing, but how often were you arguing? You arguing every day? It's just not adding up as to why she would just be done so subtly unless she checked out a long time ago.
Mm.
So it doesn't really make sense. And when you say, "Can we fix things?" and she says, "No, I don't see no point." She doesn't even try to say it in a nice way, right? There's been times I asked girls like, "Oh, so you're just not gonna talk to me no more?" They was like, "Oh, well, this is my issue, and you don't want to do this, and you don't want to do that." And I'd be like, "All right, well, let's try to work on it." And they was like, "I don't know." Never, "Oh, I don't see the point in this." It's just, you know, kind of short. And what I'm just trying to understand, how'd you get to this point? Because you just, because some arguing ain't on just end things, unless unless there's another side of the story. Because there's always three sides of the story. There's your side, there's her side, and then there's the truth. Right now, I'm
Yeah, I
only
really
getting
don't
getting
like
your
going on in
side.
her head.
But
Cause
you should have a level of awareness. There are a lot of things females do that are indicative of other things. How often did you talk to her? How often did you guys argue?
we
You got to give me some
talk like,
clues.
what was that?
I said, you got to give me some clues.
No, we only argued like the month before we like broke up, right? Almost every time we spoke, we were at her and stuff, and I don't know, she just wasn't trying to be peaceful.
Oh, she wasn't trying to
Yeah,
be
I don't know why
peaceful.
she's.
So she was starting, or was she like,
To me, it looked like she was trying to start arguments. But when I said like stop arguing with me, I don't want to argue with you, she just said you're the one arguing with me. Like she always like try to put it on me
hmm.
when she's on shit. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like she was trying to break up with you. You got to understand, when girls want to break up, they'll start arguments and try to be just so disrespectful to the point you want to leave them. Some girls do that. They'll make the
Yeah,
situation so hard to like, all right, maybe he'll leave me if I be disrespectful. Maybe he'll leave me and I'll push him away if I continue to argue. Because it sounds like you're saying she was arguing with you
yeah,
and you asking her to stop, and then you're like, oh well, she keeps going. I don't know what the hell the issue is. Sounds like she's trying to break up with you. I've had girls tell me this out of their mouth. Oh, I was trying to leave my ex and I keep arguing with him, but he keeps sticking around. Like I don't know how to get rid of him. And I've heard a multitude of girls say that.
well,
And it sounds like, but my thing is, where's that coming from though? Because it always comes down to dynamics.
I have no idea, man. But so do I just keep like my space, not talk to her?
You had all right. Listen, even if I'm pretty sure you watch the videos, there's three
I
videos on
do.
YouTube. All right, that last video is your only best bet. But what I would say is raise your value.
Yeah,
Raise your value, because If somebody says they're done with you, they don't see a purpose in this relationship, that person's attraction for you is the lowest is that it's ever been. Her attraction for you is the lowest is that it's ever been. And there's nothing you
Um,
can say or do at this very moment to try to get her back.
okay, but I don't know what I did to like,
But that's what
you know,
that's why I'm trying to figure out how'd you get there?
yeah. I mean, I don't even know how I got there, but
But see, that's the problem. And even if you watch those videos, I said that you need to, you first, when you have a breakup, somebody leaves you, you need to realize how you got there and not just fix it for her, fix it for yourself. Because your lack of awareness is what's hurting you. You don't even know what got there. You can't even realize that this girl's picking arguments with you to sounds like almost leave you.
yeah,
And if you can and if you don't fix that and you don't understand what the dynamics were, because I'm pretty sure it comes down to dynamics. Usually when it comes to dynamics, there's a lack of something like a guy maybe leaving or maybe a guy like, giving too much attention. There's no scarcity on your attention. You're not as valued. You're not being on your purpose, being too extreme in one end or the other, right? It comes down to
mm,
your dynamics and you can't even identify it. So I can't help you. If you can't tell me what your dynamics was, you say, oh, we were just arguing. All right, what is the source of the argument? You can't tell me the source of the argument. There's not really much I can help you with. But the only thing that you need to do now is to leave her alone, give her space. Don't
okay,
don't be upset. No looking at her stories, no looking um at her Instagram stories, Snapchat stories, none of that. Because you don't know what the case is. And
yeah,
and and it's very abnormal for a girl to like not even hit you up if you don't talk to her for a week. You said you did that twice.
yeah,
Very abnormal. And it may be some months before you speak to her again because you did it when she was in a relationship with you and she didn't talk to you.
hmm,
So she just may be one of those girls that just, when she's done, she's done. But I'll tell you this, raise your value. What does that mean? Work on your pockets, work on your looks. Every time you feel sad and hurt, let that shit drive you. Gain some weight, get ripped, stay in the motherfucking gym. Work on your money. If you're working 40 hours a week, work 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. Transform yourself. Give yourself 6 months and you'll be in a different place. Get a new car, start a business, get fucking rich, hit the lotto, whatever the case may be, because that is one of the things that I see most guarantee will bring someone back is when you raise your value. But at that certain point, you might not want that person back. So that's what I advise for you right now, and work on those steps that I told you in that last video that's on Patreon. I would say work on that, and then work on yourself, because usually there's a correlation when you raise your value, when you work on yourself, allow you to see yourself way, start to treat you a certain way. One correlation that I've always seen, how men see themselves, their women treat them. So if you don't value yourself, and it may sound so like basic, but how's that translated is like, say for example, I see myself a very high value. I see myself ultimate respect. I see myself as damn near being a fucking king, right? So if I see myself that way, one, what does that translate into? I'm not going to tolerate certain behavior. I'm not going to tolerate certain treatment. Obviously, I'm not going to tolerate disrespect if I see myself as a king. Obviously, I'm not going to tolerate, um, a lack of attention if I see myself as a king. So I wouldn't even get into a situation where a woman's neglecting me. She can go a certain amount of time without talking to me, no problem. Because after I did that shit the first week and she never hit me back, I'd probably be done with that situation because I understand and I'm intuitive enough to know that that's not how love looks. I've experienced love before. Any girl who can do that comfortably and just act, "Oh, where'd you go? Where you been?"
or maybe she just wanted attention, type of girls like that.
Yeah, attention. When girls want attention, they don't do that for that long.
I
Attention is
don't
a
know.
few days. Attention is acting out. Attention is starting an argument. Not you not talking to her for a week and then her never hitting you back. A girl will do that for a day, 2, 3, the max, not a whole fucking week. because that's indicative of, oh, he doesn't talk to me for a week, then we ain't never gonna talk again. You got to know the balance and the difference between the two. Don't be delusional with this shit. A week is excessive. I say if a girl can talk to me, if my girlfriend can go 2 weeks without talking to me, she's not my girlfriend no more. One, because if you go 2 weeks without talking about, I don't know what you've been doing, what you've been up to, and that means I'm done with you. Two, that's showing and silence is telling you something. You're sending a message. Don't think that just because somebody's not talking to you, they're not telling you nothing. No, they're sending you a message. They're telling you, I don't give a fuck. You know?
Yeah.
Seriously. Don't be delusional with that shit, because that's serious. Don't just say, oh, maybe she wanted this. You need to and you need to really like take that into consideration.
Okay. Thanks, KB.
No problem. You know, guys, that's one thing you guys need to work on. Like, and you guys tolerate so much bullshit ass behavior sometimes that when you're in a situation with a girl and you run into these problems, they're very basic, but you don't tolerate it so much, you don't even understand that you shouldn't be tolerating that. Like if a girl's not treating me a certain way, if she doesn't have respect for me, if she's not coming to me and wanting to like, just always be on me and kiss me, like this is the treatment that I'm used to. So that's what I tolerate. Anything less than that, I'm never gonna take that girl serious. Like, see if she's bad and she's fine, but she doesn't treat me with the type of treatment I want to be treated. She doesn't come over my place and like start cleaning shit up. She doesn't come over my place and ask me, do I need a foot massage or a leg massage, or can I get you anything? Can I make you some food? If she's on the way to me and asks me, do I want anything from the store? If she doesn't do those things, yeah, and then she's bad and the sex is great, okay, yeah, we'll mess around, but she's never gonna make it to the girlfriend realm. She's never gonna make it to I'll take you serious realm. Right? Because I understand my worth, but that's a self-concept thing, right? And yeah, like I would say my expectations are very realistic too, because I've gotten it. I get it. I not got it. I get it with every girl. Now that I'm like older and I'm a lot more aware and conscious of it, now I just know how to filter people out very well. If she comes in talking crazy, I'm like, hey, don't listen, don't talk to me like that. I really appreciate if you didn't. And you can be reasonable. You don't have to yell. Do I talk to you like that? No, I don't. So treat me with that same respect. And so if it doesn't stop and it continues, I wipe my hands, because what I'm asking for is not a lot, you know? So I don't tolerate that type of shit is crazy.
So can I say one more thing?
What's up?
So one thing I noticed about like after joining your Patreon, so like your live calls conversations, you hold like masculine frame really well. And I want you to make like a video about holding masculine frame, because I think that would help a lot of people,
Is that something you have a
There's
hard
so
time
many-
with?
Not me, but like I feel like a lot of people don't know. But so you needed like content ideas, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I'll do that. But what you need to be focusing on your issue. What issue are you having? Your girl left you and you don't know why.
well,
If you
I'll
could if you could get me a video that I can make to help you with that, that's what I would like. I get it. Working on masculine frame is a thing because I'm just naturally a masculine person, but you need to tell me a video that I can help you with.
that would help me too. I mean, it would help me understand more, more in depth.
But what you have to understand is you have to learn to communicate and communicate what you need and understand what's going on. You need a different level of awareness
Yeah. I
because
feel like you communicate like really well. That's why you're so successful with women and stuff like that.
yeah, but it's just a level of awareness, and I get that, and I've gotten that, and I appreciate that. But what I'm telling you is, you have to sit and observe and think, what is the problem here? But it's also it's and why I say it's a level of awareness, because a lot of guys are in a situation and they're oblivious to certain things, and a lot of guys
Yeah.
maybe you don't listen, whatever the case may be, but you need to figure out what that is, and I'm serious about that. Figure out what
All
your
right.
issue is. Seriously, dude. man, you guys gotta really do this shit. You guys gotta figure out what your issue is, and that's another problem I see. A lot of guys want help and they just expect me to just have the answers. I can help you, but I need to know what's going on, right? You can't bring a car to me and say, you can't bring a car to a mechanic and say, well, hey, my car is messed up and I need you to fix it. Well, what's going on with it? I need to run some tests. So in order to, diagnose you with something and see what your issue is and where your issue lies, I first need to understand what's going on, right? I need some indicators. But that also calls for you to at least know what's going on, right? And this is what I see a lot of times. And girls think this shit is normal too. It's not just guys. They think that, oh, when you're in a relationship, oh, you fall out of love sometimes. No, that's not supposed to happen. Yeah, your emotions, yeah, how you feel towards that person may fluctuate sometime, but being completely out of love, you need a balance. And by the way, Sam, what I would advise you to do is get the relationship course. And maybe that may help you identify a lot of your issues that you have in that relationship. Because even though it's a bit expensive, yeah, but it's the price of a pair of sneakers. But I advise you to
That's it.
get that.
I'll get it.
Yeah, I
That's
advise,
not expensive. I'll get it.
yeah, please, because I don't know what your issue is, but what I do in there is I highlight a whole bunch of issues where guys are not doing, and a lot of key components to a successful relationship. So when you do that, and it's 12 weeks worth of information if you watch a video every day, and obviously you can do it a lot faster. But I advise you to do that because you're having this issue of you don't know what's going on, So maybe that'll help
Yeah.
you. Maybe it's just a lot of things you don't know. All right, guys. Let's get into the podcast. That was a great little back and forth with a loyal Patreon member. By the way, guys, if you do want to get on the Zoom, sometimes I do put it in the YouTube chat. So hit the link in the bio and go on YouTube. Sometimes I do put it in there. Today we're not going to do that because I got to go work out right after this. But what we're going to do is we're going to get into the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about what's considered a high value male, and also to Sam's point, one of the loyal Patreon members, he was having an issue, but when you're considered high value, women leave less when you are considered high value. And I think a lot of people think they're high value. And then we got to call out the men on this too. A lot of men think they're high value when you're actually not. um, and I think that being a high earner and being valued, they do correlate. And sometimes they can, almost be a little synonymous. They almost can be one and the same. But I think that you can still be considered high valued without falling into the 1%. You can fall into the 20%. You can fall into the 15%, the top 30%, right? There's this hierarchy in the United States that it's a really big gap. It's a really big gap. And a lot of the times it's not so easy to move up and up unless you are on a mission. So today we're going to be talking about that, what's considered high value. But guys, in the likes, if you're in the chat, let's get the likes up. And when you guys are ready to get started on podcast number, guys in the chat, who knows what podcast number this is? I was about to say it, but I'm gonna let you guys say it. But yeah, we're about to get into that. Let me see. Oh, excuse me. Let me see you guys drop your ones in the chat if you're ready, so we can get going. Nope, it's not 160. It's not. It's not. Yes, 161. All right, drop your ones in the chat. Let's get started. Let me know if you are ready to get started on this mother sucker. It's gonna be a good one, guys. We're doing 200 episodes this year, so we got to be consistent. I think it's Rob Dyrdek, not Rob Dyrdek. Is it Rob Dyrdek? Who's the guy on MTV who does the show? Was it hilariousness or funniness, some shit like that? And I heard he does 200 episodes, so I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna perform like the 1%, and we're gonna do 200 episodes. And I want you guys to make sure you're subscribing to the podcast too. We got 6,000 subscribers on the podcast. Let's try to go for like 10K. Oh, ridiculousness. There we go. Ridiculousness. He said the guy who hosts that show, he does 200 episodes a year, or I think it was like 220 or 210 or something like that. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna set those standards highs, and we're gonna treat this podcast like a live TV show. All right, let me see some more ones in the chat. Come on, let's get started. Let's get started. Let's get started. Come on. Come on. Let me see some more ones. I want to see them flooded. One. One, Sergeant. Let's do it, baby. All right. Now I'm seeing them type of ones I want. All right, guys. Podcast number 161 episodes. I love it. Today we're going to be talking about what is considered a high value male. You know, the thing that everyone wants, the thing that all the women want. I think everybody wants to be considered high value. You do have some people that are not necessarily want to be high value. Some people just are content, and some people are okay with a regular average living. But I think a lot of women want high value men. Today we're going to be dealing with a lot of statistics because, you know, dealing with somebody who's high valued, it still falls into a smaller percentage of society. So with that being said, we got to talk about this. And, you know, before we get into it, I just want to say 80%, according to like it was a few surveys. Where did I get my Census Bureau, IRS, and this is for the numbers for money making. And it was like some regular surveys that I had looked on some websites. And like 70 to 80% of women want men that fall into the 15 to 1 and 5% of men. Right? It's crazy. Like, it just makes me think, like, where did all these high expectations, unrealistic expectations come from? Now, you can get it. I believe you can get anything, but you got to put in the work. And I think a lot of problems with women nowadays, they want to manifest everything and just think it's going to come magically without putting in the work. And manifestation is real, but you got to put in the work, whether that be physically or mentally. And then you got to look the part. But let's get into the podcast. Let's play this advertisement promoting the relationship course, because I need you guys to get that to help yourself out. And that is a lot for people, but I know that it'll definitely help. It'll definitely help. And if you know how the podcast goes, all right, guys. This is J.O. Say It Ain't. And right after this, we're going to get into the podcast. And then we're going to talk about what's considered high value. Don't go anywhere. Grab your popcorn, your chips, and we're going to be here for a half an hour.
Yeah, nigga. This is that big Hollywood. That shit you wish you could get. You know what I'm saying? We ain't fucking around out here, man. Fuck you thought it was, nigga. You know how we do it, nigga. We doing back-to-back shit. Ain't no stopping, ain't no motherfucking breaks, nigga. This shit ain't for the weak. So tell them niggas, watch out. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is, yeah, you know I'm too bold. But you still sleeping on me, niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, got it figured out. Try to be the nice guy, but now I'm on a different route. Probably got your girlfriend in my crib, just trying to dick her down. And best believe I kick her out if she don't plan on putting out. Yeah, cause I'm a dog, I'm a fucking dog. Got a lot of bitches, but I'm always trying to fuck some more. Yeah, so what you want from a nigga? I done found out the game, and they don't be loving niggas. I'm good, I'm all set. The way I do my own thing, yeah, they gon' vex. Out here calling shots like a motherfucking rep. Whole time y'all was playing checkers, I was playing chess. Man, this shit a mess. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it Ain't so, got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is, yeah, you know I'm too bold. But you still sleeping on me, nigga, say it ain't so. Say it ain't. Woo. Ain't so that I'm back, nigga. Tell Shorty that I'm in. She know he a whack, nigga, doing all that yapping. He just hating cause my stack's bigger. Hit it from the back. I'm the one that got her ass bigger. Yeah, and I'm a boss. I'm a fucking boss. Feeling like a Cali baby. I ain't never took a loss. Nah, and I made y'all with the cross. Putting on for my city, and I put that on the cross. So I'm good. I'm all set. Who's real? Who's fake? Man, let's put them to the test. I ain't worried about a thing, baby. I ain't never stressed. Ben thought I was that nigga. Man, I must confess. Bitch, I've been the best. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas, yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is, yeah, you know I'm too bold. But you still sleeping on me, niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't.
All right, guys, that was Say It Ain't by J.O. But let's get into today's topic. So, what is considered high value? And the only reason I want to do this because there are a group of people that feel as if unless you are a high earner, you cannot be high valued, right? Because usually people that are considered high valued are valued by people because of their money. So there's a correlation of people who are high earners versus people who are considered to be high value. But I don't always think that is the case, right? Because people who are high valued always usually fall into the 1% of people or the 5% or 15%. There's this small margin of society. You know, how many people do you know personally that make 500K a year? How many people do you know personally that make 200K a year? I do. I know a lot of people personally like that, right? I know people who make millions a year. But your average person doesn't even know these people. They don't know this kind of person. They don't know who this person is. Most people will never even encounter or even know people like that, man or woman. So when you say that only these people who fall into this small margin of people who are considered high value, I think that it is a bit harsh to, and it's realistic. And I put those standards on myself too. But that is not the only way you can seem or be perceived as being valued, especially when it comes to having money, right? Because yeah, you can make good money and you can fall into a high percentile, but it's not always about that because not all people are about money. Not all people care about money. Money can fix a lot and money can make things a lot better. Trust me when I tell you. Trust me. But it is not the all and be all. And honestly, I may sound a little hypocrite saying that because I feel like maybe sometimes it's the only thing. But I think because I have a level of religiosity, because I have that level of faith, that I don't put too much on it, right? I put a lot, maybe like 80%. But let's get into some of these statistics. So you got a lot of women saying they want a man that make 6 figures. They want a man that is 6 feet, with an 8-inch pipe and in his in shape 6-pack, all these unrealistic standards. And some women are willing to compromise on some, and some are willing to compromise on others. But aside from that, even men, you should want to raise your standards. And I know when it comes to being a high earner, it's not always as easy, but if you put in the work, you can get there. So when we talk about men that make 100K a year, that falls into 15%. 15% of men in the US make 100K or a little more a year. So we're talking anywhere from 100K to 150K. 15% of men. That is a very small percentile, right? Because there's still like 85% of the population that doesn't make that. Well, yeah, you'll have some people that are not accounted for. Okay, cool. Even if you said another 10%, that's still most of the population that doesn't make that. So, and then you got to take into consideration a lot of these people, a lot of women that want these kind of men, they want kids, they want a certain lifestyle, they want a certain family, and those things are expensive. So let's talk about Men that make 200K, we're not going to even make a big jump, 250K a year. People that make 200, men that make 250K a year in the US, which is 20K a month. 20K a month is a lot. I remember the first time I made 10K a month. I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. I got money for everything. I was taking trips. Like, it was because it's such a big gap from making $2,000 a month to making 10K a month. 10K a month is basically 100K a year, right? But making from 2 to 10K is a lot. But imagine 20K. That's a 2-person salary. That's where I'm trying to get to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K a month. That's where I'm trying to be, right? But 5% of people, 5% of people in the United States make 250 or 200 or 250K a year. That is a very small percentage. Chances are you don't even know that person. Chances are you might not even encounter that person, right? So let's talk about the 1%, because it's not that far off from, we're not going to even say $1 million. Not even $1 million. Men that make 500K, $500,000 a year, fall into 1%. And this is based off of the Census Bureau and the IRS census for 2022. 2022. So this is last year. People that make 500K a year fall into the 1 percentile. 1% of family homes make about 500K a year. You don't even know that person. Most of you don't even know that person, let alone trying to get that person. Now, can you be that person? 100%. 100%. And I think that the percentage of women that make that is less than the 1% of that 1%. It's like a 0.5% or something like that. So on average, you'll see, men usually make a lot more than women do. And that's why a lot of women who usually encounter are with these kind of people, they usually are husbands, or a sugar baby, or somebody who is acquainted with the person who makes that money as a lover most of the time, or their wife. And not saying that women can't have it, they can have it, but the proof is in the pudding. A lot of women want to do it, and a lot of women are making more money a year. They are, but it's just not happening. So let's talk about, so outside of that, can you be considered high value if you're not making that, that kind of money? I think that you can be, but I think that there are 3 components, especially as a man, if you want to fall in that percentile, right? And before we get into that, I want to say that when women make this kind of money, it almost hinders them for a few reasons. One, they want somebody to be on an equal playing field, right? You can ask just about any woman. If I'm making 100K a year, I want my man to at least be making the same. But only 15% of people in the United States make 100K a year. So now your dating pool just got smaller. And now you have to find somebody who is making that amount of money. And then on top of that, you're not about to be buying a man a house. You're not about to be buying men cars. There are some women that will do it, right? There are some, but that's fewer than many. And men don't really care too much about that. And plus, you don't allow yourself to be open up to so many options. Your options get closed. Not saying that you can never get a man like that, but you decrease the probability of doing it. Now, moving on. So can you be considered high value? I think you can be. And I think a lot of men can be. So if you don't fall into that 1%, what are some of the criteria for you being considered a high value person? Meaning, how can other people value you? Because there are people that are valued that are not necessarily rich, right? You have people that are valued that are leaders, community leaders, like priests and judges and stuff like that. People like myself, people who come to me for advice, people who take coaching, people who listen to my podcast, and they use my podcast as a way of growth, right? They use it as a way of growth. So how do you become to be considered high value without falling into the 1 percentile? So let's get into that. And I think it's 3 components, especially as a man. As a man, if you want to be considered high value, there are 3 components that you need. And I would say these 3 components are: 1, salary. You got to be making some type of money, right? Attitude and ambition. So let's break that down. So I think the lowest income in America is like $20K a year, right? You want to try to be making a little more than that. So this way you can take care of yourself. Maybe you have enough money for a girlfriend, because if you save a lot and you make proper investments, because getting money is just not the end all be all. You have to invest that money. There needs to be some type of interest, some compound interest, maybe investing, but this needs to be done strategically. So your average, on average, not your lowest, your average salary in America is about $52K a year. So at $20 an hour, if you work an average of anywhere from 40 to 50 hours a week, you'll be bringing in $52,000 a year. At least that's the least, because your average full-time job, I think, is like 40 hours a week. But I always tell you guys, if you listen to me and you listen to my podcast, what are the amount of hours that I tell you should be working? Let me see if somebody can say it in the comments. What is the average amount of hours I tell you guys you should be working? Because 40 hours is average. And I think if you're going to do anything great, if you're going to do anything above average, it needs to be 4. It needs to be more than 40. Exactly. So at $20 an hour, if you're working 40 to 50 hours a week, exactly, 70 to 80 to 90, right? If you're working 50 hours a week, 50, 40 hours a week, that's about average income in the US. It's $52,000 a year. So let's put some more on it. So if you say you're working $20 an hour and you're working 80 hours a week, same job, whatever that may be, now you're bringing in $83,200 a year. Now, 80 hours a week is a lot, right? But we're not counting for if your job has bonuses, if you get extra pay or time and a half, or, or any checks or like commissions and stuff like that. So we're not even taking an account, because those things can add up to it, especially if you have a vehicle. Like, for example, I'm invested in Novatech. I get 3% of my money every week. You know how much Chase banks give you on the percentage of your money? What's the percent of interest do they give you on your money? I think it's like 1% in a year. In a year, I get 3%, anywhere from 3 to 6%. Sorry, anywhere from 3 to 6% in a week. I know a lot of people don't like these new startup hedge funds because they think it's a scam. Oh, I see you're not really, but you didn't do it. I did it. And I only started with like $200 something. My shit is like $2,000. And I've only just been, all the money that I make every week, I put it back in and it's multiplying. So imagine if you're working, busting your ass, even if you work, let's say 70 hours a week, that's still $72,000 a year. So now you're not in 1%, but you're falling into the 20 and the 8 and the 20% and the 25 percentile and the 18 percentile. That's still very high. That's still above average. Think about the money you can save. Think about the investments you can make. Right? 3% of my money, that's just one investment. So, and I only started that like what, August or something like that. It's a few months ago. But it's not just about making the money. It's about taking that money and making smart investments with it. So this way you have money, because when you make that type of money, it's still more than your average. You'll still have excessive money to take care. Because if you're making 50 to 40K a year, you still have money for a vacation. You still have money to go on dates. But now you got money to go on dates. You have money to buy things. You can buy a nice car, right? You can do all these things. You can go on dates, and you can take care of people. You can take care of your mom. If you got a girl and she's been your girl for years, you can pay the rent for your place. She can live with you, whatever the case may be. Now you're valued. Now because you're looked at somebody that's valued. You don't necessarily have to fall into the 1%. Just be above average. And working that 80 hours a week, that's not something you have to do for 5 and 10 years. You do that shit for a solid 2 years and rack up, especially if you guys are living at home. You know how many guys are 18, 19, 20? I wish I had did this. And you're working, you're getting $20, sometimes $30 an hour, and you're only working 40 hours a week, and you're living at home. You don't have any real bills or responsibilities, maybe a car note. You can rack most of that money up. And a lot of the times your parents is not even asking you for money. Forget girls, forget going out and buying bottles and all that stupid shit. It's not helping you. And trust me, when you get my age, I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have even known about this. Even if I just took my money and put it into the S&P 500, bro, oh my God. I'd have more than $1 million right now. That's all you have to do. You don't have to work 80 hours, 100 hours, 70 hours a week for like all your life. Just do it for 2 years and rack up, and then you can use that money and make investments. And then work 50 hours a week. So this way, now you're back to 52K, and just stay consistent. I'm telling you, it'll make so much more of a difference. You don't necessarily need, because at a young age, when you're in your early 20s, you don't need to be falling to the 1%, even though you can. There's a multitude of things you can do. There's a multitude of things that you can do to make it. And the only reason I haven't made a course or something like that, because I'm not a millionaire myself. I don't want to say to do this, do that, and do this, and I don't have $1 million+ in the bank. But once I do, motherfuckers, y'all gonna see. We're gonna do it. But back to my point, the salary thing is something that you have to have. So even if you do this for 2 to 3 years and you rack up and you're working 60, 70, because 60 hours a week, you're making 60K. That's still above average. It's slightly above, but it's still above. Right? If you're working 70, 80, that's still 70K a year, 80K a year. You're closer to the 18%. You still fall into a small margin, and you can do it. You don't have to be super rich. And then you find a vehicle to make that money work for you. I just gave you one example of a hedge fund that I use, a new startup. I've been getting results. There are a lot of people saying they don't trust it, but I've been getting 3% of my money every week. Your bank account is only giving you no more than 1 per Chase Bank. They're giving you 1%. And I know a lot of people got Chase Bank. So think about that. That shit accumulates. You guys let years go by, and you're not being smart with your money. So then that's the salary part, is something that can make you seem high valued, and you guys take it for granted. What's another thing? Have your own place. Have your own place. Now, obviously, that's not something that you want to do right away. Stack up your money first. Stack up your money. And then if your rent is like maybe $1,200, $1,500, maybe even if it's $2,000, you'll have your rent in 1 week. Or by that time, when you're done stacking up, you done worked 80 hours a week for like 2 years, and you done saved almost a year's worth of salary, you paying rent will be nothing. And then you can find vehicles where your money can work for you. If you bet $10,000, I know somebody that has about $11,000 in Novatech. He gets $300 every week. That's a full-time salary that he's getting from almost doing nothing. And there are other vehicles like that. There are other investments you can make like that. So having a salary that is slightly above average, you can be considered high value. Having your own place, you can be considered high value. Having your own car. You guys ever see Baby Boy? You see how he was using his girl for her car? A lot of you guys like that. Don't get me wrong. I was once in that case too. I was in that place. Because girls like me so much, they'll do a lot of things for you that is not necessarily the best thing for you. Because whenever she got mad, give me my keys, give me my car back. And I was literally living like Baby Boy, right? Living at home, using my girl's car, going to pick her up at work. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But when you get a place with your girl, like I got a client right now, he had a place with his girl, and he's taking a risk at messing up his credit because they broke up, and now they have to break the lease. There's a possibility of breaking the lease, and you have to pay these extra fees, and it might mess up your credit. Don't do it, because at the risk of a relationship, if you guys are together in a relationship, now what? Now you got to break the lease. You got to do all this extra shit. But if you had your own place and you're in a relationship, You don't have to risk messing up your credit. You don't have to risk paying all these extra fees because you had your own shit. And you don't have to leave because your name is on it. Doing that whole 50-50 stuff is a recipe for disaster. It is. I know a lot of you guys have a hard time with it, but you need to step it up and you need to level up because there's no fucking excuse. So how can you be considered high value without falling into that 1%? You can be slightly less, working more than 40 and 50 hours a week, anywhere from 60 to 80 hours a week. You'll be considered high value. At $20 an hour, $20 an hour is the average income for people in America. Having your own place, having your own car, or maybe even having 2 cars. Most people don't have 2 cars. You will fall into a high percentage and you will be still considered high value. But that's not it. That's the only thing that's not it. You also have to have the right attitude. Part of those 3 components: salary, attitude, and ambition. Having the right attitude. Now, when you're on date in game and in approach game, and the PUA coaches that I've taken coaching from before, what they say is when you're on a date and you're considered high value, women pick up on that. And what does that mean? You're conducting yourself as if you were higher value, right? You're not going to tolerate certain type of disrespect, right? You're going to know your worth. So if you come on a date and you're presenting yourself as if you're high value, you're dressed to the 9, right? Your clothing is good. You maybe have some nice accessories, not too much. If that's not your thing, you don't have to, but you're dressed very well. It says a lot about yourself. This person has respect for themselves. This person holds themselves to a certain type of standard. You come on a dress, you looking good, you smell good, you got some nice cologne on. Presentation is everything. First impressions last a lifetime. So if you're looking good, and you take care of yourself, you're in the gym, you're not obese, you don't look any type of way. Remember that thing? Remember the video that Kevin Gates had put out? He was like, the woman in the comments, she was like, "Oh, I love the dad bod. You need to go back to the dad bod." He was like, "No, you I just look like you could get over on me." Because I was getting over on myself, not treating myself with respect, not treating myself with value, allowing myself to be slob and being overweight and being out of shape. Because that, like he said, when you see somebody who's overweight, it looks like some women feel like they can get over on that person because he's out of shape. Oh, he gonna let me have my way. He fat. All I gotta do is feed him. He look a little lazy. He probably lazy. He probably don't go to the gym. Yeah, he probably gonna give me my way. Yeah, I could get over on him. Have value for yourself. Conduct yourself. Don't tolerate disrespect. You come on a date. There's been times I was on a date and a girl on her phone too much. I got up and left. I got up and walked out. One, because I genuinely have had dates where girls don't do that, and I've asked her more than once. I'm presenting and I'm portraying higher value. I don't tolerate that bullshit, and neither should you. And these are some of the things that are going to make you seem higher value. Another thing, not putting women first. No. I always get asked to hang out. Well, not as much from people who know my schedule, but a lot. I get asked to hang out a lot, but I don't. A lot of times, oh, can I hang out with you? I got to go to the gym. Oh, but can I just see you for a little bit after the gym? Maybe, depending on how I'm feeling. I still got to go home and shower. I want to eat. I haven't eaten yet today. I'm starting. Ramadan ain't come yet, but I'm preparing. You know what I'm saying? So then what happens is women, they start to say, well, damn, I feel like I'm always begging for your time and I feel like you don't need me for anything. So then they want to like, oh, let me come massage your feet. Let me come massage your leg. I get treated like the king. I get treated like the prize. And I don't ever have to say I'm the prize. Right? Because they understand that I'm not just bullshitting with my time. When I say I'm at the gym, I'm at the gym. You'll see it on my story. Or I send them a video. I'm not out here bullshitting. I'm really trying. I'm really working hard. Right? But that whole idea, that priority of not prioritizing women, it's conveying higher value.
right? And a lot of you guys out there do practice Islam, and a lot of you guys are supposed to be participating in Ramadan, and you don't. You don't tell your girl no for sex during Ramadan. You know it's slow for that. It's slow. We're not doing that. I can't do that. I'm fasting. None of y'all do that. And I know a lot of you don't. A lot of you don't even fast during Ramadan. So you're not putting God first. And then she knows that you're going to compromise everything. Oh, last year you had sex with me during Ramadan. Why can't we do it? And don't get me wrong, you might slip up once or twice. But if you overall tell her no, and she knows what time it is, she's going to respect you that much more. And it's conveying higher value. Even for the guys who are Christian, you got your values. You don't put your God first. I know a lot of people don't. You read the Bible, read this, and do that. And then just go still live your life doing anything. No morals and ethics. Talking about I kill people. All types of craziness. Oh, man, I got to watch my language. I don't want to get kicked off the live. Right? But the point is, you can portray higher value in how you prioritize things, in your attitude. You know, there's a difference between pursuing and chasing. Somebody that is considered high value is not going to chase you, and women know that. Women know that. Like they'll hit you up, say, "Hey, what's up? When are you free? Let's go on a date. Let's do this." But these women want you to apply pressure. These are women that are not dealing with high valued men. And if you know you're high value, you don't have to apply pressure, because women that value you and have respect for you are going to allow you to pursue them without being excessive. Oh, I got to chase her. I got to keep hitting her up. She's not responding. No, because you're not high value and she don't see you that way. And remember, it's a self-concept thing. The world is going to treat you how you see yourself. And anything that's not in according or in line with that, you got to dust it. You got to get it out your way. That's why if I'm on the street, somebody disrespects me, I'm like, yo, man, what? Don't disrespect me like that. Something's going to break out. If I'm talking to a female, she's not giving me the type of respect that I want, she got to go. Because I consider myself higher value. And that's why you check people and you set boundaries. Because if they didn't know, they're going to learn. So then they'll start treating you as if you're higher value, because that's how you value yourself. These are some of the components. And obviously self-care, being in the gym, right? And the reason why your self-care is why you should have a face routine. I have a routine. I have a morning routine and a nighttime routine. I mean, yeah, I could work on getting sleep, but nobody got the time for that. Ain't nobody got the time for that. You know, my teeth aren't perfect, but they're white. You see, they're white. I keep my beard not looking crazy. Sometimes it might get a little out of hand, right? I try to keep a decent haircut, keep my hair braided. My braids ain't looking like Jim Jones. You know Jim Jones from Dipset? You ever see? There was a meme. There was like how as soon as after he get his hair braided, he take a brush and brush him. I'm not looking crazy like that. I try to make sure I look decent. Got some nice, decent accessories. You know, everything real, nice. The Movado watch is not super expensive. The most you're going to pay for a Movado watch is like $1,000. It's not super expensive. There's some that cost $500, $300, $800. You don't necessarily have to be rocking a Rolex and $30,000 and $80,000 watches for you to be considered high value. Because girls are going to see when your attitude matches. So you have to, your looks and your body. I got a 6-pack. I got an 8-pack. I'm not super ripped, but I got muscles. I'm in shape. I can fight. Right? I get my mom money. I pay bills that I shouldn't be paying. And I'm valued for it. I'm respected for it. Whereas when I was 20, and I'm like, oh, you know, and I'm still living in the house at that time. I'm like, oh, Ma, let me bring a girl over. No, you can't have no girls over. It's a little different when you start paying them bills. especially when you're not even, especially when you didn't live there. Still paying bills. You're valued. It's because you're doing things and you're being valued. And I'll tell you this. A lot of the times where women, they're not super attracted to you in your looks and how you look, you usually got to pay. I had just did a video and the guy was like, this girl in my DMs talking about send me 40. But the girls do that. They do that. They'd be like, well, oh, well, he got to compensate me for my time because he ain't that cute. The girls say that shit all the time. Oh, you can't be ugly and broke. You got to choose a struggle. They always saying some stupid shit like that. That's because they're not really that attracted to you. So more or less, you got to pay to play. So a part of being high value without falling into the 1% is salary, your attitude, and how you look. You got to take care of these things. You just can't come outside looking all types of crazy. I make sure every time I go outside, I try to look somewhat presentable. You never know who you're going to run into. And your ambition. There's been studies done that show that women are more attracted to men that are ambitious because you may not be rich yet, but you're showing that you have the potential to. And obviously, when you prioritize goals and actually pursuing your goals, not just saying I got goals and I'm going to manifest them. No, yeah, manifesting works by actually doing it. You have to put in the work, right? You actually have to put in the work. And you're also valued when you bring structure. You bring structure to someone's life. You bring structure to a woman's life. Statistically, single parents are a lot better at raising kids alone. They do a better job statistically better than single mothers. Why is that? Because men have structure. You're going to bring structure. You're not going to allow your family just to do anything. You're going to be in charge of the finances. If she has a spending problem, you're going to be like, hey, let me correct this. Even if you have the spending problem, okay, well, you handle these bills. I'm going to handle this, that, and the third. I'm going to bring protection to the house. Nobody's being outside the house after 1 p.m. or after 1 a.m. You're bringing structure and order to the house. You have a level of morality. That's why I say you should put God first. Because people that usually have some type of level of religiosity usually have a reference for morals, right? I'm not gonna unalive people for no reason. I'm not gonna sell drugs in my community, right? I'm just not gonna be out here just having sex with just anybody. And that's another thing that's valued. Women value that it's harder to get to you. I've had girls on my DMs for the past 3 years. Trying to talk to me, but it's not going to happen because I'm not interested and you just can't access me like that. Yeah, these girls are half decent looking. Would I let her, you know what I'm saying? Would I cop some head? Sure. She got a fat butt? Would I probably, clap cheeks? Probably, but I'm not. I got a lot going on. That's not my focus right now. It's not my focus. I know I have enough talent to where if I go hard in a certain thing, I can change a lot of lives. So you have to implement these things, and another way you can really have a value is starting a business. There's a lot of different things you can do. You don't always have to fall into that 1%, that 5%, or that 15% of men of high earners to be considered high value. And I just gave you 3 components with salary, attitude, and ambition. And your attitude is how you conduct yourself. Your salary is working hard. And you working hard can be ambitious. You making investments can be ambitious. Yeah, you're going to be making sacrifices. There's sacrifices to everything. That's literally the nature of this world. If you want something that is above average, you have to make a sacrifice. Working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Okay, yeah, you're not going to have that much of a social life. But if you put in the work for a short time, you'll have a lot of money. And you can invest that money. You can make that money work for you. But a lot of people, they don't want to do that. They don't want to make the sacrifice. You have to make a sacrifice for something, right? You can't just say, oh, well, I'm gonna just manifest it and just be rich. Yeah, you have a very, very small percentage, 0.5% of society who just get, and even still, I wouldn't say that's manifest. That's not luck either, because that's something that's on these people's minds. They put in the work mentally. And I say sometimes putting the work mentally without doing the work physically may be harder. Right? Like a lot of these females say, I want a man that's that makes 6 figures. I want a man that's a millionaire. I want a man that's ambitious. Okay, cool. And you can have it, but they don't want to be in the gym. They don't want a natural grown booty. You could get a big butt if you work on it naturally. If you have the right diet, if you work on your looks, if you let your hair grow naturally, if you know the things that men want, we want women that are submissive. We want women that are not unruly. They don't take any training. There's plenty of females out here on TikTok that have courses on how to be submissive and how to earn it, how to get a 6-figure man. They don't want to do that. They just, oh, I'm entitled. I should just have it just because. No, get the fuck out of here. You're never going to get it. You can get it if you put in the work, not just, oh, I'm a manifest man who's going to accept me for who I am. And I'm considered to be obese. It's the same thing with men. I think you're just going to have all of this and not put in the work. Put in the work. Put in the work. It's that simple. Because if you put in the work, you can have it. It's crazy. It's crazy, like some people's mindsets. I never tell nobody that they can't have anything. But the problem comes in where you're not willing to put in the work. The problem comes in where, where these women, they want these high earning men, they want these quote unquote high value men, but they want to do what they want to do. They don't want to cook, they don't want to clean, they don't want to serve this man. And I was just talking about this yesterday. The difference that I see between dating American women are women that are American that come from American households. Like, say, for example, if I date a woman that's Caribbean, or if I date a Hispanic, I usually only date Black or Hispanic women, but the denomination of where they come from can be like DR, PR, or Trinidad or something like that. Those people who come from those countries, or who are American, but their parents come from those countries, if I'm giving food, I'm cooked food. When they come to my house, they clean my house. If I'm cooked food, they cook me the food, and then when I'm done, they take the plate and they go clean the dishes. I don't touch nothing. Literally. And then when I come, oh, you want a massage? You want me to massage you? Oh, I'm coming over. You want me to buy you some food? You want anything? You want breakfast? Wake up to breakfast in bed and some head. Seriously. But American women don't do that. I remember when my ex, I would go over her house. I remember when our house for Thanksgiving, her mom told me to wash the dishes. Of course, her mom is single. Very, very masculine woman. Right? And they're not taught how to be wives. They're taught, oh, get your education, get your money, focus on your career. You don't need a man right now. But why can't you do both? It's true. And I think it's just American women. They have this fucked up idea. Right? And I think just about all the girls dated, I usually only date Black or Hispanic, but I think I'm just done dating not American women, but American cultured women. And that's why I date a lot of Hispanic women. But even there are Black Hispanic women. Like a lot of Dominicans are Black but Hispanic, but that's usually my go-to. They know how to treat your boy. I mean, New Yorkers are aggressive in general, but when you check that shit at the door, it usually goes out the door. But anyway, guys, I'll take a question or two, and then I got to get out of here. But we'll play this song by J.O. and this advertisement, and then after that, we'll all right, guys, that was AI Tate. Make sure you guys get the relationship course. We're gonna play this song by J.O. Say It Ain't, and then we'll take some questions, man. We'll take some questions.
Yeah, nigga.
I wish this song didn't start like that.
You fucking around out here, man. Fuck you thought it was, nigga. You know how we do it, nigga. We doing back-to-back shit. Ain't no stopping, ain't no motherfucking breaks, nigga. This shit ain't for the weak. So tell them niggas, watch out. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is, yeah, you know I'm too bold. But you still sleeping on me, niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't. Ain't so got it figured out. Tried to be the nice guy, but now I'm on a different route. Probably got your girlfriend in my crib just trying to dick her down. And best believe I kick her out if she don't plan on putting out. Yeah, cause I'm a dog, I'm a fucking dog. Got a lot of bitches, but I'm always trying to fuck some more. Yeah, so what you want from a nigga? I done found out the game and they don't be loving niggas. I'm good, I'm all set. The way I do my own thing, yeah, they go. Vex, out here calling shots like a motherfucking rep. Whole time y'all was playing checkers, I was playing chess. Man, this shit a mess. I'm going blow. Ain't depending on no niggas. Yeah, I'm going roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas saying ain't so. Saying ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is. Yeah, you know I'm too bold, but you still sleeping on me. Niggas saying ain't so. Saying ain't so that I'm back, nigga. Tell Shorty that I'm in. She know he a whack, nigga. Doing all that yapping. He just hating cause my stack's bigger. Hit it from the back. I'm the one that got her ass bigger. Yeah, and I'm a boss. I'm a fucking boss. Feeling like I'm Cali, baby. I ain't never took a loss. Nah, and I'm a y'all with the cross. Putting on for my city, yeah, I put that on the cross. So I'm good. I'm all set. Who's real, who's fake? Now let's put them to the test. I ain't worried about a thing, baby. I ain't never stressed. Ben thought I was that nigga. Man, I must confess. Bitch, I've been the best. I'm going blow, ain't depending on no niggas. Yeah, I'm going roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas saying ain't so. Saying ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is. Yeah, you know I'm too bold, but you still sleeping on me. Niggas saying ain't so. Say it ain't. All right, guys. Alrighty then, that was J.O. Say It Ain't. Let's take the floor for some questions. Where the questions at? Come on, y'all got about 10 minutes. I gotta go. I also want to give me a little salad or something like that. A little chicken salad. So I'm talking to a girl who seems very interested, but then blocks me by the end of the night and then add me back. Oh, she probably got a boyfriend. She probably trying to hide you from somebody. Somebody who blocks you to add you back, that's a little suspicious. I don't know. Maybe she's trying to get your attention. Maybe, but girls do a lot of irrational shit, though. I've had that happen before, but like a few times. But I've heard everything from I thought I saw something, but it was a mistake. It wasn't you, or because especially if you ain't do nothing bad to the girl and she's blocking you for no reason, it doesn't necessarily have to always be something bad, but it's very weird behavior, to say the least. When you're dealing with a vindictive woman, how do you break up with her and not get destroyed? How would you get destroyed? First of all, I don't deal with vindictive women to begin with. I don't deal with vindictive women at all. See, that's why you guys need a relationship course. I talk about that in the filtering process. Before you ever make a girl your girlfriend or ever she's a vindictive girl, you never make her your girlfriend. Because those women cheat for sure. Because by any means, they're gonna get their get back. They're gonna get their lick back. Guys, run up these likes. Let's hit 10K likes before we're finished. I don't deal with vindictive women, and neither should you. But just break up with her. Just be like, listen, I just want to work on myself. But she shouldn't be so vindictive to the point you're afraid to break up with her. You see how ridiculous that is? He's asking advice on how to break up with a vindictive woman. No. You should never be afraid to leave somebody. Man, fearing for his life. That's ridiculous. What if the past 3 or 4 girls I've been seeing want to be serious, but I just want to tap? Well, that's gonna happen when you trying to get. He said the past 3 or 4 girls. Well, if you don't want that serious, just tell them that, because you're just gonna be wasting their time anyway. But if that's what happens when guys listen. If you want a rotation of girls and they want something serious, you could keep them around for a little bit, but eventually they're gonna leave you. Eventually, they're going to leave you. You're going to lose some place, and it's going to hurt the most, especially when you actually really like them, but you just want to have your way. You don't want to make an honest woman out of her, then, you know what I'm saying? Then let her go. You can't avoid that.
What do you just want to just mess around with girls forever? You got to understand these girls going to be only momentarily. If you don't want nothing serious, then be like, all right, well, tell her that. Listen, I don't want nothing serious. And don't try to chase her when she leave. They're going to want something serious. If you worth anything, if you're doing anything right, they're going to want something serious. So, I mean, that's a silly question. I don't have a fucking answer for that. Like, you can't just say, oh, how do I just make her be content without ever wanting something serious? These girls got options nowadays. They're a little different. You know, you just can't say, oh, I'm gonna, how do I just make her do that? Damn, where all these comments coming from? I think I went a little too far. Hey, bro, I respect your game and you're honorable individual. You're red pill, but without hate. Yeah, I'm not red pill though. I don't consider myself red pill. They do have a lot of like principles, but I don't necessarily consider myself red pill. That's why. High value man is a man who heals from his trauma instead of traumatizing another. Listen, ma'am, I think you missed the whole damn podcast I just gave. Don't come on here trying to tell me what a high value man is. I just literally did a 30-minute podcast on what a high value man is. Even from what society thinks a high value man is, to even how to fall into being high value without falling into what society thinks a high value man is. But I can't quite comprehend is how does a guy with game like you believe in God? What? What type of question? What? How is that even a question? How I can't believe in God and then still have game? Like, what the fuck? What type of shit is that? Who's talking about, hey cousin? I'm not your cousin. Y'all be weird on here. She said, hey cousin. And trust without malice. And it's just a real question. Listen, I think that I have a really good religious foundation growing up. And then I think that people these days, they're not as religious. So if you're not abiding by religious rules or law, you have to have some type of techniques, because when you're not abiding by those rules, you're abiding by other rules. So unless you're just strictly have somebody who abides by that, then you have to play by a different set of rules. But I don't deny that some things I may do is not right. I don't deny some things I may do is haram. I don't deny any of that. But it's just a level of awareness, and awareness correlates to intelligence. You have to be smart, and to deny a creator is illogical. You know, it doesn't make sense. See, because either you came from nothing or you created yourself, and you can't create yourself without first existing. That logic is just so stupid. Like, I don't, it just doesn't even, like, nobody does critical thinking if they can say that, like, it's just crazy. When you work 100+ hours a week on your purpose, how do you keep a balance in the voices and avoid scarcity? Scarcity of what? 100 hours a week, you ain't got no time for nothing else. You on a mission. If you're working 100 hours a week and getting $20 an hour, bro, you're going to make 100K. And I advise you save more than half of that. Allow yourself to live off of 30, 40K a month. Give yourself an excess of, like, maybe, an excess of 10K just for spending, and then make sure your bills are paid and give yourself some little spending money, and then that's it. Like, you ain't got no time. But I don't understand your question. And oh my God. He said Adam simped over Eve. I can't. Why do I keep attracting girls with daddy issues? There's nothing wrong with that. You got to correct the girls with daddy issues are the easiest to manipulate. But I'm not saying manipulate them, but they want a father figure. You got to be a father figure for them. You just don't know how to handle it. Not gonna lie, you're right. It's just the correlation is an understanding of psychology and intelligence. So what's your skincare routine? You have nice skin. Thank you. What do I do? Listen, I have like it's just like I usually just wash my skin and I work out a lot. Um, if you look at my vlog channel, I did somewhat of a skin routine on there. It's KB the Dom Vlogs. I just need more sleep. It's hard to sleep. You ever had to fake I love you to a girl? No, I just don't say it. If I'm not ready, if I don't love you, I ain't gonna say the shit. How to build a roster. Join Patreon if you want to learn. I have a whole course in that. Text my assistant. She'll get you right. It's like $40. You're gonna have to pay for it. Because building a roster is not something you should be focused on right now. Focus on building your money. Do I listen to rock? Absolutely not. I like that song. I wanna rock by Lil Uzi Vert, but that's about it. And I don't really listen to him like that. I just watched a video about chasing a bit to pay her bills. Hey man. Hey man, say man. He said, whenever you do the announcement thing, no one can hear it. What do you mean? Like the AI tape? I think people on TikTok hear it. I just think maybe you guys on YouTube can't hear it. Because people respond to it. And an actual statement. So point is, get it, man. You listen to Young Boy? No, I don't. Fuck with blocks. Friends with benefits block you because she's jealous. Thoughts? What? Friends with benefits blocks you because she. What is she blocking you from? He said ODNSB, so believe in God. Probably right. At what age did you peak? I haven't peaked yet, motherfucker. I'm 30. And how I take care of my body. My peak might happen when I'm 40. What do you think about Black Ryan Seacrest? I don't know who the hell that is. Very vague questions. I'm not really sure what you're talking about, if I'm being honest. That shit do not want to get off. Goddamn cat here. How do you game a religious girl? You don't. Obviously, you want to keep basics. You want to check disrespect, but if she's religious, then you just abide by a religious law. And if she's abiding by religious law, then you should be straight. You don't need my game for that. Unless she's doing something different. Do you prefer a particular race when it comes to dating? I feel like my own race is cool, but I don't mind. Like I said, I usually only date Black or Hispanic women, but there are Hispanic women that are Black. There are light-skinned women that are Hispanic. I've dated I think I dated just about all races before. I never dated an Asian girl. I've hooked up with Asian girls before, but I never dated them. Yeah. So there's that. You know, I've also been learning my español. Yo habla español. Yo entiendo un poquito. What's your thoughts on trucking field? I hear it's really lucrative. I don't know anything personally because I don't do it, but I know some people that make like 8K a week doing this shit, or like 8K a month. It all varies. Very, very lucrative. He said, serious question. If a man is a 3 out of 10, but he's stuck there, or he can improve his physical, of course you can. They're literally, I forget what the tool is called. I think it's a Gaucher. You can literally shape your face. right? There are jaw exercises that you can do. And obviously being physically fit can help. If you don't have bad skin, making sure you get your teeth straight. And this may take some years to get right. Get Invisalign. You know, make sure your hair, make sure you stay with a haircut. If your eyebrows are a little crazy looking, get your eyebrows done, right? Pick somebody who can look, or somebody that looks someone like you, and model yourself after them, right? You know, stay in shape. You know, work on yourself. That's not hard. That's not hard at all. Change up your wardrobe. You know, even if you were ugly, even if you were the ugliest guy in the world and you couldn't change it, it's like having something that smells, but you want to mask the smell with perfume, right? But that's not even the case. You literally can change your looks. They're like, if you ever look at these videos where people change how they look over time, and they take like a picture every day, or if they take a picture how they look years ago and versus how they look now, literally some people look completely different. Like they have like chiseled jaw lines. There's things that you can do to shape your jawline, literally, right? There's jaw exercises. People start cutting their hair different, doing their eyebrows, or maybe they didn't have a beard, maybe they grow a beard that might help them. They start working out, get muscles. You can absolutely change how you look. You can't be stuck there. Anybody can do that. I think like every 11 months you like shed, like you have a new like skin, like your skin completely sheds, some crazy shit like that. Listen, the world of your life is what you make it. I need to make videos on TikTok. Dude, I've been doing anywhere from 10 to 30 videos a day. You need to look for me at that point. They broke your bones to make you taller. Oh my God. All right, guys. I'm going to get off of here. I'll be back tomorrow. Consistency is key. Like I said, 200 episodes this year. Inshallah. I'm all for this. Make sure you subscribe.